The night before we got our marriage certificate, my fiance was in a car accident. While driving the Porsche I gave him as a present, I happened to be passing by and saw a disheveled woman hiding in his arms. His friends joked sex in the car. "We're going to get married tomorrow. Why are you going to do it so hard?" Lila just came back. I couldn't help myself. The next second my phone rang. "Serena, I was in a car accident. Let's postpone getting the marriage certificate. Tomorrow." I calmly hung up the phone and called another person. "Dad, I agree to the marriage. We will get married tomorrow." When Ethan saw me he was shocked and panicked. He immediately shook off Lila's hand and stepped back 1 meter. Lila glared at me, then turned to Ethan and said coquettishly, "Be gentle, it hurts." She shook her hands, touched her neck, and pulled her collar down a little, afraid that I would miss the kiss mark on her neck. "Serena, long time no see." Ethan's shirt was messy, and the buttons were out of place. I hit the panic and replied to him, "I just happened to pass by after finishing my work." He raised his eyebrows slightly and saw me without any panic. "Lila returned to China, and I picked her up after overtime. Unexpectedly an accident happened. It's just in time that you came. Lila was injured. I have to take her to the hospital. The wedding next week will be postponed for now." In the past I would cry and make a scene if he and Lila got close to each other. But now, with their clothes and disarray in front of me, I remained calm. I asked him, "How long will it be postponed?" Ethan thought I was having a temper tantrum and frowned angrily. "You don't have to look so desperate. As soon as Lila's injury is healed, I will marry you immediately." Lila's so-called injury was only a broken forehead. I was driving the car, and I am responsible for the accident tonight. You can make a fuss at any time, but don't be petty when you should be magnanimous. At this moment, his impatience made me feel ashamed and heartbroken. 5 years of love was no match for a white moonlight who had abandoned him for money. I asked in a steady and deep voice, "How long will it be postponed?" He looked even more impatient. "The time is to be determined. It depends on when I can handle it." I looked at him for a long time and finally nodded okay. "You decide the time. You can postpone it as long as you want. The wedding will go on as usual, and I will replace the groom. You don't have to look so desperate. As long as Lila's injuries are healed, I will marry you immediately. I'll take Lila to the hospital. Ask someone to take care of the car." Without giving me a chance to reply, he hugged Lila and left. But the jokes he and Lila made drifted into my ears with the evening breeze. "Just wait and see. No matter how much I delay, she will rush to beg me to marry her. Serena loves me so much she can't leave me." But this time he miscalculated. No one wants to be a bootlicker all the time. I contacted my assistant to handle the situation. On the way back I called my dad. "Dad, the wedding will go on next week, but the groom will be replaced." I agreed to the marriage. My dad was stunned for a moment, then asked me seriously, "Marriage is not a joke. Have you thought about it?" "Yes, Dad, you are right. A noble orchid cannot be paired with a weed." I just got home and opened Facebook on my phone. Lila's profile picture lit up, so I clicked it. After 5 years of separation, he treated me just as well as before. Today's rear-end collision only caused a minor scratch. He was so nervous that he sent me to the hospital, fearing that the wound would heal if it was too late. Below is Ethan's passionate. 5 years, 10 years, even 100 years. As long as you need me, I'll always be here. My stomach churned. The wedding photos in the room were so dazzling. I found a pair of scissors and cut them into pieces and threw them into the trash can. I also paid a higher price to hire a moving company to throw away all of Ethan's things overnight. Then I put the house up for sale. It was almost dawn when I finished packing. I was so tired that I fell asleep on the bed. When I woke up again, it was already the next afternoon. I turned on my phone and found that Ethan had called me more than 100 times. I ignored him. As soon as I finished washing up, Ethan's mother came to my house with him. It turned out that my father had the public relations department release a news report to cancel my wedding with Ethan. Serena, marriage is not a joke. You can't just take advantage of your family's power and disrespect us men. It's just a car accident. Postponing is not cancellation. How can we save face for the Long family? If you make such a fuss. I was speechless. If you say postponement, then postponement. Wouldn't that make the Sue family lose face even more? Ethan glared at me angrily. "Serena, you agreed to postpone the wedding on the surface, but you actually manipulated public opinion to scold me. You are hypocritical. How many times do I have to tell you that? I only treat Lila as my sister. She was injured in a car accident. And I just took care of her for a few days. Are you going to stop this? Serena, I am so disappointed in you. I looked at him unusually calm. Ethan, I am disappointed in you too. You can take care of Lila as long as you want. Let's break up the engagement. Ethan was confused. Ethan's mother was so angry that her face turned red. Serena, you are going too far. It was you who begged Ethan to marry you. It's not that our long family must have you. If you don't issue a statement today, you are being willful and reckless. I will not agree to your marriage with Ethan. After that, Ethan's mother left in a rage. She thought I would chase after him. Ethan also looked at me arrogantly. Serena, you are so childish. You threatened me with canceling the marriage. I will give you one last chance. You go to my parents and apologize to them. And ask for their forgiveness. If they don't forgive you, I will never marry you. The reason why Ethan is so self-righteous is that I have given him the confidence. In the past 5 years, the young lady, who had never had to worry about food and clothing since childhood, and was the center of attention, met a class monitor who was aloof from women in college, which aroused her desire to challenge him. The more Ethan rejected me, the more I became more motivated. In order to get closer to him, I lowered myself to please Ethan's parents. The princess who grew up in a castle rolled up her trouser legs, took off her socks, and went to the field to learn how to plant rice. Everyone, including Ethan and his parents, agreed that she would not marry anyone else in this life. In order to marry Ethan, I promised my father to give up my dream of becoming an actress, studied business administration, took over the family business, and also rejected the idea of marriage with aristocratic families. Fortunately, it is not too late. Although I have made up my mind to cancel the engagement. After 5 years of relationship, I still feel uncomfortable and can't eat or sleep. My best friend was worried that I might get sick, so she skipped work and took me to the hospital. As luck would have it, I ran into Ethan and Lila. Ethan, if you hadn't sent me money every month, my mom's illness wouldn't have been cured, and I wouldn't have been able to finish college. Lila's voice came from the waiting area in front. I graduated and got a job now, so don't worry about me anymore. It would be bad if Serena found out. You should go and apologize to Serena. You are so outstanding. You should be at the top. Instead of squeezing out the rental house with me, I will marry you in this life. I am not afraid of being called a mistress, as long as that person is you. Lila, I am sorry for putting you in such a difficult position. My heart ached as if it was stabbed by a knife. It turned out that the overwork he did during college was to support Lila and her mother. I was so stupid that I tried to transfer money to him in different ways. The best friend was so angry that she stood up and pointed at Lila. And you bitch. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? You openly said you want to be a mistress, but you just like to steal other people's things. Serena, are you done yet? I've already told you that I will hold the wedding with you once Lila's injury is healed. I've already explained to you that I only consider Lila to be my sister. We haven't crossed any line. What do you mean? By following me all the way to the hospital to spy on me. My best friend was so angry that she rushed forward, but I stopped her. I raised my eyes and glanced at the two of them. Ethan, I just feel a little uncomfortable. Jojo just came with me to take a look. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Ethan looked at me mockingly. Serena, don't you forget that when I took Lila to the hospital, you also used the excuse of feeling unwell to force me to stay with you. Are you using the same trick again now? He protected Lila behind him. But this time I won't abandon Lila. The wedding date is just postponed. Don't push it any further. Before this, he and Lila were still in contact. And I always felt that I was not good enough. Be more considerate, be more sensible. But this year, seeing how he tried so hard to protect me, I realized how much I was deceiving myself. Love is love. Not love is not love. Ethan, he doesn't love me. Believe it or not, I did come to the hospital because I was feeling unwell. I didn't show any weakness and looked at him with cold eyes. Ethan, I'm officially informing you that our wedding is cancelled. From now on, we will go our separate ways. Whether you treat Lila as your sister or really accompany her to see the doctor has nothing to do with me. Even if you have sex in the car in front of me again, I don't care. Ethan stared at me in shock, frowning but trying to argue. Serena, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. How many times do I have to tell you that? I just picked up Lila on my way home from get off work. I didn't do anything inappropriate. Lila seized the opportunity and said aggrievedly. Ethan, you should go back. My injury is not serious. Your marriage to Miss Serena is the important thing. Ethan seemed to be afraid that Lila would leave. So he held her hand tightly. Lila, don't worry. I will take full responsibility for what happened to you in my car. No one can change that. Lila glanced at me with embarrassment, but Ethan's face darkened instantly. Don't worry about her. She has been spoiled and selfish since she was a child. Lila nodded softly, secretly showing me a triumphant smile. The scene before me made me unbearable. You keep saying I'm selfish. I'd be sorry if I didn't do this. I called my assistant and said, tell someone to kick these two people out. No one is allowed to treat her. Ethan's face was grim. Serena, are you out of your mind? This is not your company. What qualifications do you have to kick us out? You may have forgotten that most of the noble hospitals in this city are owned by my uncle. Do you think he should help me or you? The business world is all about strong alliances, involving all fields. My family also owns a hospital. And I didn't want to worry my parents. So I came to my uncle's place. Ethan obviously didn't want my parents to catch him. So he changed the hospital. But he didn't know that this hospital belonged to my uncle. The security guard came to chase him away quickly. Mr. Ethan. Please. Ethan didn't expect me to be serious. His eyes were like poison. Serena, are you sure you want to make it so embarrassing? I'll give you one chance. Take back your words and apologize to me in public. Otherwise I will never forgive you this time. Please don't forgive me. Let them go immediately. And don't allow them to serve you in the future. Ethan was so angry that he growled. Serena, don't regret it. This isn't the only hospital in the city. Let's go. Ethan dragged Lila away. And I chased him all the way to the parking lot. Stop. Ethan turned around and smiled smugly. Serena. I knew you would regret chasing me, but it's too late. Unless you apologize to me and Lila in public. At the hospital. I will never pay attention to you. Seeing his mysterious self-confidence, I suddenly felt that there was something wrong with my brain. I had been spoiled by a Phoenix man. And had become a domineering boss. I smiled coldly. You may be disappointed. I came to you to get my car back. The wedding has been cancelled. It's time to take my car back, right? Ethan's face sank. Serena, I just wanted to give you one last chance. It seems that I wasted my time. Don't force me to break up with you. We have broken up. Please return the car keys that I paid for to me. Don't use my car to carry your sweetheart. I find it disgusting. Ethan suppressed his anger and tightly grasped the car keys. He was unwilling to give up. But he couldn't afford to lose face. After thinking for a moment, he threw the keys over. Who wants a broken car? He turned and walked away, and I stopped him again. Wait a minute. Ethan turned around, his eyes were red with anger. Serena. Please return my card as well. Ethan was completely annoyed and glared at me fiercely. Serena. Do you think you can force me to surrender like this? I tell you it's impossible unless. I interrupted him with a mocking look on my face. It's still fast, stop talking nonsense. Ethan's cheeks turned purple. He was confused by my sudden demand for everything back. Apart from everything my family has given him. He has nothing and is nothing. What else can he do except for that salary? Ethan doesn't want to. If he returns it to me, he may not even be able to take out the money for a taxi. I didn't hesitate. Why, Mr. Ethan, you won't be unwilling to return my car? Right. For the sake of our 5 years of friendship. As long as Mr. Ethan openly admits in the hospital lobby that he is a Phoenix man, I will give you this car. Ethan was stubborn and said, this car is originally mine. Do I need you to give it to me? I sneered. Mr. Ethan. Do you need me to educate you on what premarital property is? Ethan's face was so gloomy that it looked like water could be squeezed out of it. Serena. Don't think you are great just because you are rich. Trying to use your money power to force me to come back will only push me further away. Then, Mr. Ethan, please start by returning the car and card. Ethan's hands were clenched into fists. And his face was tense to the extreme. Serena, you know I don't have the habit of using cash. But if you ask me to hand over my bus card, I won't even be able to commute. How could a poor boy born in the countryside develop the habit of swiping a card? I am such an innocent person. I smiled coldly. That is Mr. Ethan's business. And has nothing to do with my ex. He angrily stacked his wallet and car keys together and threw them heavily to the ground. I don't want them. Don't beg me to take them back. My best friend was so angry at his attitude that she wanted to go up to him and argue with him. But I stopped her again and bent down to pick it up. Seeing this, Lila immediately stepped forward and said, "Ethan, don't be angry. I have money and I'll give you all of it." After that, Lila gave Ethan her cash, credit cards and bank cards. As far as I know, Lila has been a parasite since graduation, relying on Ethan to support her. How much money can Carrie have? But Ethan's ears were red and he was very touched. Lila, seeing his red eyes and touched look, it seems that he regretted not choosing her in the first place. My stomach began to churn again. This show of affection made me sick. Lila looked back at me and said with red eyes, "Miss Serena, I may not be as financially capable as you, but I love Ethan more than you do. I will not embarrass him in public, just because I am angry." I looked at their backs and smiled. My best friend joked, "You can still laugh. What are you going to do about your wedding?" "In a few days. The wedding will go on as usual." In the evening, my parents asked me to go back for dinner. I met my future husband Daniel. I remember that he was skinny and had a runny nose when he was a child. After not seeing him for many years, he looked so handsome. And his well-defined face looked like a carefully crafted work by an artist. After knowing that I agreed to the marriage, he flew back from abroad. "Serena, have you really thought about it?" Knowing that he was talking about the wedding, I thought he had a loved one. I said, "If you don't want to now or later." But he interrupted me with red eyes. "If you want to go get the certificate tomorrow, me. This is your choice. I won't give you the chance to regret it." I had a puzzled look on my face. Although we had been engaged since childhood, we had no other private communication, except necessary dinners over the years. When I wanted to break up the engagement, because of Ethan, Daniel didn't react. But I didn't expect him to be so anxious now. What he said made me feel that he had liked me for a long time. However, before I could ask, my parents said that it was finalized. Our two families were originally aristocratic families. And at the dinner, the parents of both sides confirmed our wishes again, and immediately finalized the wedding arrangements. Daniel. At a junior high school classmate reunion, I made fun of his childhood weakness in public, which hurt his self-esteem. He vowed to change the impression of weakness in my mind, and started to learn martial arts. I went abroad in high school, just because distance creates beauty, and let me discover his goodness. But I didn't expect that I would be with Ethan, and I would not marry anyone else. He knew that no one could change my decision, unless I changed it myself. So he was ready to keep this secret love of many years in his heart. But he didn't expect that I broke up with Ethan. So he hurried back to China. After hearing about his secret crush, my parents wanted me to get married right away. To be honest, they agreed to the arranged marriage out of spite. But after hearing Daniel's confession, of course, I chose the one who loved me over the one who loved me. The next morning, Daniel came to pick me up to get the marriage certificate. I couldn't help but tease him, "Are you in such a hurry?" He looked a little pitiful with red eyes. "I've been waiting for 25 years. Okay. I asked too much. I thought he was so excited that he came early. But it turned out that he was going to take an hour to take me to Edel noodles. I teased him. "After living in the United States for so many years, can you still eat such spicy food? I like everything you like." His words reminded me of the dinners we had when I was in school. Every time I would choose hot pot skewers, frogs, eels. None of my friends were willing to accompany me. Only Daniel would go with me silently every time. I always ordered the dishes. And I thought he would like them too. But now that I think about it, he hardly touched his chopsticks the first few times. This time he ordered the food. But every dish on the table appealed to my taste buds. And he enjoyed the meal very much. There is no such thing as innateness. It is just a compromise out of love. Daniel is willing to change for me. Ethan eats light food. I have ordered hot pot before, but he said he wanted to vomit when he smelled it. In the past 5 years, I was the only one who accommodated his taste. Love and so obvious. Throughout the meal, Daniel was gentle and considerate. He accompanied me to every dish and chatted with me about all sorts of things. I suddenly felt that the past 5 years had been wasted, and began to look forward to my wedding with Daniel. This meal was the happiest I had in the past 5 years. When I was in a good mood, I ate more, drank more, and went to the bathroom more frequently. But I was unlucky, because I ran into Ethan and Lila again. He spoke first. "Serena, are you done yet? You went crazy in the hospital yesterday, and followed me to the restaurant today. Isn't that disgusting? Ethan already hates me to the extreme. Apparently I didn't give him face yesterday. And I didn't ask for his forgiveness. As he wished last night. So naturally he humiliated me severely today. I looked at him expressionlessly. His ferocious face really disgusted me. At this moment, I suddenly felt nothing. For the man I had been in love with for 5 years. It's dinner time now. I just came to the restaurant to eat. You think too much. You never go to the restaurant to eat alone. Why do you come here so early in the morning? Who are you trying to fool? Ethan was convinced that I was following him. Out of jealousy. And didn't listen to what I said at all. He said disgustedly, you made a scene yesterday. And I told you clearly that I would marry you. After Lila's injury heals. She has been eating bland food these past few days. And is ravenous. I just took her out for breakfast. How long are you going to haunt her? For 5 years. He refused to accompany me to eat at this restaurant. Lila only ate light food for a few days. And he took the initiative to bring her here. I said coldly, you eat yours, we eat ours. We have nothing to do with each other. If you keep making up stories. Who will have breakfast with you? So early in the morning. Ethan saw that I was alone. And didn't believe that anyone would eat with me. Lila beside me also smiled and said, Miss Serena. It's not shameful to eat alone, but talking is a bit. She paused, then smiled. It's lonely to be alone. Why don't you share a table with us? Who said she eats breakfast alone? As soon as Lila finished speaking, Daniel came to my side and looked at me with concern. Why did you take so long to go to the bathroom? Did you feel uncomfortable because of the spicy food? No, I just met my ex and chatted with him. Daniel looked over as I said. His gentleness faded away. And his eyes became deep and cold. There was a bone-chilling chill in his eyes. As chilling as an abyss. That made people's heart palpitate. Ethan looked at the person in front of him dumbfounded. Daniel. Ethan couldn't believe it. His eyes moved back and forth between me and Daniel. You and Daniel. I took a detour to bring Serena here for breakfast. Is that a problem? Lila looked at Daniel. Who was wearing a European-style tailored suit. And had a face with clear contours. As if it was carved with a knife and an axe. Lila felt a flash of jealousy when she looked at Daniel. Ethan looked at me with disdain. Serena, that's enough. You relied on your connections. As the daughter of a wealthy family. To force me to ignore Lila. And even asked my boss to act with you. You thought that this kind of provocation could force me to come back. And beg you. Dream on. There's no way I'll ever come back. I was stunned by his words, and then I found it funny. Ethan, you are too self-confident. Are you the only man left in the world? With my conditions, who is not better than you around me? Would I be so stupid as to hang myself on a tree? Like you. This sentence also completely angered Ethan. And he began to speak without thinking. Serena, the whole world knows that you are a dog. You have been pastoring me since college. And you loudly declared on my birthday that you would marry me. Even to this day you are still stalking me. You can't even understand the licking. Bang! Daniel threw a punch directly at Ethan, who covered his face. You hit me. Serena is my wife and your boss's wife. If you keep talking nonsense, I will kill you. Ethan is a coward who doesn't dare to mess with Daniel. So he vents his anger on me. Serena, you are so shameless. You want to marry me, but you are flirting with Daniel. Did you sleep with him? He actually cooperates with you so well. Daniel kicked him away with his leg, pinned him to the ground and punched him. I told you Serena is my wife. Please respect her. Ethan was stunned. Daniel, Serena is my fiance. How can you act with her? He reacted and turned angry. I am myself first and then your employee. If you hit me again, I will not be polite. I hit you. As Serena's husband. Ethan's face was filled with anger. Don't go too far. Lila was afraid of affecting Ethan's work. So she quickly pulled him aside and said, Ethan, forget it. There are more places to eat breakfast than here. Let's find another one. It's not his business. Why should we let them go first? Lila suddenly covered her mouth and vomited. Her face pale. She didn't need to say anything. Ethan was already anxious when he saw her like this. Lila, I'll take you to the hospital right away. He didn't even look back until his back disappeared. Daniel wanted to stop Ethan, but I stopped him. Forget it, if someone gets killed it won't be worth it. Daniel understood immediately after hearing this. And his face was filled with anger. How can you tolerate him bullying you like this? We haven't even officially gotten married yet. And he thinks he has you completely under his control. So he's preparing to have a family. Outside. I looked at the man, who had just defended me so domineeringly, and now felt sorry for me, and was helpless because of my rejection. And I couldn't help but smile. Don't worry, I'm fine. Daniel looked sad and agreed. If you really love me so much, it's okay to regret it now. He thought that with my personality, I could tolerate Lila's pregnancy, which proved that I loved Ethan terribly. In fact, I just found out about it. I looked at the man in front of me with a headache. Have you finished eating? Let's go get the certificate after eating. Daniel's eyes lit up okay. While I was waiting in line at the Civil Affairs Bureau, my phone kept ringing. When it was my turn, Ethan sent me a message. Serena, stop playing these willful childish games. I'm going to take Lila to the hospital first. And I'll come talk to you later. What's wrong? Ethan saw that I hadn't started filling out the information and looked at me nervously, as if he was afraid that I would regret it. I looked at his nervous look, thinking about Ethan's text message, and my heart was no longer moved. Those who love you never have excuses. Marrying you is just looking forward to it. I blocked all contact information from Ethan. No problem, it's just spam. I put away my phone, picked up the pen again and filled out the form. The moment Daniel got the red book, his eyes were full of smiles. He could no longer be reserved. He hugged me and cheered in public, laughing like a fool. After getting the marriage certificate, we took wedding photos. My mother-in-law selected 7 golds for us and gave us a wedding house and a car. I didn't need these, but my mother-in-law said that the necessary procedures must be completed. This reminded me that in the past 5 years, I was the only one who gave to Ethan's mother, and she didn't even get a meal. On the wedding day, Daniel came to pick me up early. Unexpectedly, Ethan also came. When he saw me in my wedding dress, he frowned immediately. Serena, I told you to postpone our wedding, but you blocked me and forced me to get married in your wedding dress. Why don't you give in for me? He was still disappointed. Why do I have to coax you every time? I looked at him, but I couldn't get angry at all. Even at this time, he actually thought that I was still waiting for him. And today's marriage was a forced marriage. I said expressionlessly, Ethan, today is my wedding. But the groom is not you. You are really playing big. Even pretending to get married. To force me to come back. Is it that serious? He frowned and looked extremely reluctant. You win, I will marry you on time and you let Daniel go. I was amused by him and looked at him with a smile. Ethan, open your eyes and see clearly. Today is my wedding with Daniel. What does it have to do with you? You're really playing big games. You even had a fake marriage to force me to come back. You have no bottom line. As soon as the last word fell, Daniel punched him. I wanted to keep you here to see Serena's happy life. But it seems I can't keep you at all. Ethan, you are fired. Ethan looked incredulous. Why? You stole my fiance and you want to fire me. This is personal revenge. Even if you are my boss, I want to file a complaint against you. Ethan called the reporting hotline on the spot. Soon after, HR called him and told him that he was fired by the boss's son, and that compensation would be given according to regulations, and that it would be okay to make a scene. Daniel started at the grassroots level after graduation. He wanted to get along with his colleagues at first, so he didn't tell them his real identity. After he was promoted, there was no need to emphasize his identity. Before that, everyone thought he was an ordinary person. Ethan couldn't accept this reversal. Daniel, you are bullying me. Even if you are the boss's son. You stole my fiance and I can still sue you. In short, Ethan really didn't believe that Daniel and I were really married. Daniel is still holding back because he doesn't want anything bad to happen on his big day. But he can't handle Ethan's arrogance. Daniel took out the red. This is our marriage certificate. You can go and verify it. Serena is my wife. She has nothing to do with you. If you stop me, don't blame me for being rude to you. Ethan stood there as if struck by lightning. He stared at the bright red book, the information of the man and woman, and their wedding photo, and froze. How is it possible? He didn't believe it. He just postponed the wedding for a few days. Serena was just angry. How could she marry someone else? If he hadn't found out this morning that Serena had already emptied the bridal house and sold it, he wouldn't have believed she was serious. She said she would only marry him. But now that he was here, why would she marry someone else? Honey, let's go. Daniel bent down and picked me up and walked towards the wedding car amid the fireworks. I didn't look at Ethan once the whole time. The wedding was grand and went smoothly. However, I heard that a drunk man kept making trouble for the groom and tried to break into the venue, but was thrown out by the bodyguards. After the wedding, Daniel took me back to the new house he had prepared. The layout and furnishings inside were similar to my wedding room, with Ethan with many things highly overlapped. The difference was that I followed up on Ethan's. And my house myself. I was a little surprised. After all, Daniel and I had no contact. And my hobbies now were very different from when I was a child. Seeing my puzzled look, he smiled and said, I often go back to China. But your heart is all on others. And you don't have time to look back. I said that I felt someone watching me. From time to time. There was a period of time when it was so frequent that I even thought I was seeing a ghost. I asked my mother to accompany me to the Taoist temple. My mother seemed to be hesitant to speak. So I thought she was unwilling. Now I know the reason. I felt warm in my heart. But I said teasingly, you can't understand your preferences by peeking right. Daniel touched his head a little embarrassedly and said, I shamelessly asked my aunt for a copy of your decoration list. My idea was, it will save time on decoration when you come to live here in the future. This sentence aroused my interest. I didn't expect that his love for me was so deliberate. How did you know that Ethan and I would break up? A year ago. I ran into him and Lila in the company parking lot. He didn't say the rest, but there was pain in his eyes. Those who understand will understand. At this moment, I realized that Ethan and Lila had betrayed me. A long time ago. I saw more than one of their car sex. So if I hadn't noticed, you were going to watch me become someone else's bride. Daniel picked me up, sat me on his lap and took out a document. I have prepared the information about his cheating. If you haven't noticed, I will give it to you before we get married. I was about to reach out to take it. But Daniel threw the document away. He hugged me tightly and said, my dear wife. Are you sure? You want to be disgusted by a piece of trash? On your wedding night. I smiled shyly. My husband is right. A night of spring is worth 1,000 gold. After marriage, Daniel treated me very well. At work we were busy in our respective companies. As soon as we got off work, Daniel would pick me up and date me. Until the early morning. He said he wanted to make up for the time we had missed. Many times I woke up in the middle of the night and found that he was not around, but was busy working in the study, with fatigue written all over his face, and a pot of coffee in front of him. Suddenly our eyes met and Daniel noticed me. He immediately stood up and came over to me. Why are you awake? I replied. I should finish my work before going on a date. He shook his head at me seriously. No matter how busy I am at work, I can't ignore you. A deep feeling of being touched arises spontaneously and quietly lingers in my heart. A young master, who is in charge of the entire family business, would rather sacrifice his sleep time and stay up late to work overtime in order to spend more time with his wife than go home late. However, an ordinary employee often comes home late, or even does not come home at all, claiming to work overtime. It is so obvious whether they love or not. I closed his computer and said, you need to be healthy to sleep. And you are not allowed to stay up late. Daniel scratched the tip of my nose and smiled indulgently. My wife is right. In the morning, I turned off Daniel's alarm clock and prepared to let him have a good sleep. I was going to cook breakfast for him myself. But I didn't expect to run into Ethan, whom I hadn't seen for a month, outside the door. Daniel didn't find a job this month. Lila was pregnant and weak, so she needed to take care of the fetus. In addition, something happened in her family and she needed money. Lila took away Ethan's savings from working for many years. He was forced into a desperate situation. And then he thought of my kindness. Ethan made a deep vow and said that he wanted to come back to me. After not seeing him for many days, he looked haggard and had a stubble on his face. There was no trace of his former handsomeness. Serena, I only love you. That child is her conspiracy, not what I want. The person I want to marry has always been you. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. Before I could say anything, Ethan ran towards me. Serena. I stepped back to avoid his touch and said in a cold, Mr. Ethan, please respect yourself. My husband is resting upstairs. If you don't know the seriousness of the matter, I will have to ask the security to throw you out. Ethan didn't give up and reached out again. Serena, we've been together for 5 years. Are you really going to give up just like that? What else? I sneered. Give up the husband who truly loves me. Come back to you again. Help you solve Lila's problem. And then use my financial resources to help you. Ethan's plan was exposed and panic flashed in his eyes. But he was thick-skinned enough to continue to say affectionate words to me. Serena, I never loved your money. Otherwise, I wouldn't have rejected you from the beginning, right? Yes. At first he didn't like me. It wasn't that he didn't like my family background. But he hated the rich. He was conceited and thought that he was no worse than anyone else, except for his birth. So he vented all his resentment on me. And I, who had been smooth sailing, met someone who hated me for the first time. And I wanted to conquer him. After Ethan tasted the benefits of money, he began to soften his attitude towards me. But I foolishly thought that my sincerity touched him. What happened in the past is in the past. People should always look forward. There is no point in saying more. I called the security guard to drive Ethan away. Serena, I regret it. Ethan's voice came from far away, until it could no longer be heard. Just like the relationship between him and me. From then on it became more and more distant. Until we completely disappeared from each other's world. I turned around and saw Daniel, leaning against the doorway, looking at me. I was surprised and asked, when did you come out? Since you said I was your husband who truly loved you. I smiled and said, why didn't you help me when you came so early? He held me in his arms and teased with a smile. I believe my wife will handle it. I stared at him. You are so sweet. It's so sweet to have you. My ears turned red. This guy is so slick. Roar. But I love him so much. I haven't cooked breakfast for you yet. Where did the oil on your mouth come from? Daniel leaned over and kissed me, grinning in my ear. You fed me. My face was so hot. I'm hungry, let's go out for breakfast. I'll give you some. Before I could react, Daniel suddenly carried me upstairs. I was confused. Aren't we going out for breakfast? At home. Well, the result was that I became hungrier and hungrier. A year later, I found out I was pregnant while on vacation. Daniel was worried that I might not be able to adapt to the local climate. So he sent me back home on a private plane. My best friend came to see me and mentioned my ex. Ethan was cheated out of all his money by Lila, in the name of protecting the child. In the end, Lila found an excuse that the child had a problem and died in the womb. In fact, Lila had already taken the child away. Ethan went crazy when he knew the truth and almost beat Lila to death in public. Bitch, you lied to me about keeping the baby and kept asking me for money. But you secretly aborted my child. It's all because of you that I lost the person who loved me the most. You've taken away Serena's long-term meal ticket. So what's the point of me looking for you? Are you worthy of me giving birth to your child? Bitch, I'm going to kill you. If everyone hadn't seen that the situation was out of control and stopped it in time, Ethan would have strangled Lila to death. That day, I listened, feeling nothing in my heart. It was as if I had never seen Ethan before. A year later, I gave birth to my daughter. And 3 years later, Danielle and I went to pick her up from kindergarten. When I got on the bus, I felt like someone was looking at me. But I looked around and saw nothing. Honey, what's wrong? Daniel noticed something was wrong with me and showed concern for me. I smiled at him and shook my head. It's okay, let's take the baby to the playground.